Welcome to Talking Crue, an official Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 6 this week, the Theater of Pain album review. Motley news this week, a little bit of it. Thanks to my friend Scott Wall on Twitter. He actually attended on August the 24th a Vince Neil solo band show at the Kentucky State Fair. He actually got a set list and a guitar pick. He showed me some pictures that he took at the show, plus some videos, so that's awesome. Thank you, Scott, for the update, and hope you had a great time. Let's keep on with the discussions, too. Uh, John Corabi joined his other band, the Dead Daisies. They started their Resurrected tour. It actually kicked off August the 22nd, and I'm going to try to pronounce this, so if I butcher it, I'm sorry, and if you live in this town, I'm really sorry. Lititz, Lititz, Pennsylvania. In fact, they're still on tour now, so go check out deaddaisies.com for tour updates and shows when they're coming to a town near you. Nikki Sixx is also in the news this week. He's been doing at least two that I know of, the Act 6 sessions on Twitter. In fact, I got to participate in it, and he actually answered me back. I asked him what movies does he like to watch. He said drama, comedy, and action. He doesn't. It's not a real big fan of horror movies. Um, Somebody asked him about what song would you put in the set list. He said "Piece of Your Action," which I talked about in episode 4, the US Festival, where I talk about that song and said I wouldn't mind hearing them do this. So, is he watching? Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows? He also talks about, somebody asked him about the album that we're actually going to be talking about today, Theater of Pain. And he said that there were some monster hits on the album, plus some kick-ass deep cuts, and I absolutely, totally agree. So yeah, and that's it in this week in Motley news. As you can see, I'm rocking the Theater of Pain shirt now. So, welcome back, by the way. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. I sure did, and I spent my 3-year anniversary with my wife, who actually got me a great microphone. So hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better instead of having to turn the volume all the way up. So hopefully it's all working. Okay, so now let's get into episode 6, the Theater of Pain album review. On this week's episode, we're going to continue on with the timeline. And like I said in episode 5, which was the Shout at the Devil album, it was really a breakthrough album for the band, but this album made them stars. Uh, so let's do it. Let's keep going. So we're going to pick right up where we left off. When Shout at the Devil album was released, the band went on tour of their own, mostly playing West Coast shows, but they caught the attention of Mr. and Mrs. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, and they invited them to be part of Ozzy's Bark at the Moon 1984 tour. This tour is absolutely legendary. There's so many stories on this tour from Ozzy. It's in the book The Dirt and in the movie The Dirt, which is on Netflix, where Ozzy snorts ants at poolside. There's a Nikki mentions it in the book The Dirt, so it's not in the movie. Where he had to pee so bad at a hotel in the elevator, he just went on ahead and peed. Ozzy actually licked it up. It freaked Nicky out, so he thought, well, I'll get him back. And he waited until the time where Ozzy actually had to pee somewhere. Nicky went to go lick it up, and Ozzy actually pushes him out of the way. and Ozzy licks up his own pee. Yeah, it's gross, but funny stuff. I mean, boys will be boys. But yeah, there's still stories about that tour where Sharon actually got mad at Ozzy and stole all his clothes. Sorry, there's my notes. Ozzy actually wore her clothes. Yeah, it was just crazy stuff. Um, then after that tour, the band was invited to take part of the Monsters of Rock tour of 1984, which is actually like a European festival tour. It actually travels around. The big show, and I always wanted to go see one, was Castle Donington. That's like the mothership of the Monsters of Rock tours. But yeah, so check this out. Motley Crue, Accept, Ozzy, Van Halen, and this is the last tour with Van Halen as with David Lee Roth. And then the headliner was AC/DC. That is absolute fantastic lineup. Then after the Monsters of Rock tour, they got to be the opening act on Iron Maiden's World Slavery European tour. Now again, here's another story on this tour. In the book The Dirt, Nicky said that he went back to his hotel after the show. There was a naked girl in his room, and you get what happened there. And then a few shows later, he actually sees this girl again. Actually, she was the wife of Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson. And Nicky was like freaking out and hoping that Bruce never found out. But I guess she told him years later. In fact, I'm wanting to say 92, 93. When Bruce left Iron Maiden, he put out a solo album called Tattoo Millionaire, and it's actually supposed to be like a jab or a shot at Nicky. Yeah, call me Tattoo Millionaire any day of the week, but that's me. Alright, so that's the good part of the timeline. Now we're about to go to the sad part of this timeline. So after the Shout at the Devil tour ended, the band decided to take a vacation. Nicky actually stays in Europe. In fact, he goes to France. Vince, Tommy, and Mick all fly back to L.A. Vince throws a weekend all-nighter party on December the 8th at his apartment. Not only was Tommy and Mick there, but some members of the Finnish band Hanoi Rocks was there. I'm getting tongue-tied. Hanoi Rocks. And a couple of days into this party, Vince notices they're running out of liquor and beer. He's already kind of drunk already. So he decides to drive to the liquor store, which actually is just a few blocks down the road. Now, who joins him is Nicholas Razzle Dingley, the drummer of Hanoi Rocks, and he rides in the passenger seat. So they actually make it to the store and get what they need, and then on the way back, that's when the tragic starts. Vince's car hits a wet spot and actually slides sideways. He hits on oncoming traffic on the passenger side of Vince's car. He hits a car driven by a lady by the name of Lisa Hogan and her boyfriend Daniel Smithering. Vince wakes up, gets out of the car. He's actually got some cracked ribs and some cuts on his face. According to Vince on Behind the Music, Razzle pretty much dies in his arms that night. Tommy hears all the sirens and runs to the accident. He sees Vince crying on a curb. He sees one of Razzle's shoes in the middle of the road and thought, this can't be good. Vince is arrested for DUI and then later charged with manslaughter. Lisa was actually in a coma for a month. She suffered a broken arm and both legs were broken. Daniel had a broken leg and had severe brain damage. In fact, he had to relearn how to talk. Uh, Vince posted bail and was released. Uh, Nicky flies to Miami on his way back home to LA. He calls co-manager Doc McGee, and McGee tells him everything that's happened. Now, prior or during the trial, the judge is satisfied how many days Vince has been in jail and the fine, but because he had a previous DUI, he could have faced more jail time, so he actually pleads and gets to go to rehab instead. So while Vince is in rehab, the other guys are kind of worrying about, is there going to still be a Motley Crue? So they decided to get to work and go into the studio to record the third album and wait for Vince. So that's the timeline. Now some info and facts on this album. The original title of the album was going to be called Entertainment or Death, but Nicky quickly changed it because of everything that happened with Vince and Razzle. So he thought that was in bad taste, so he quickly changed it to Theater of Pain. Now, when I was putting this episode together, I found something that I never knew before. Other co-manager Doug Thaler actually has this album tattooed on his arm, the album cover, and he's actually got it listed as Entertainment or Death before the band changed it. In fact, next week's episode, Vince kind of does a little joke, and I never caught it, never realized what he was talking about until I read this, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. Wait till next week, you'll find out what I'm talking about. Also, unbeknownst to the band, Nicky actually starts messing around with heroin at this time. He's kind of dabbling in it. The band recorded the album in 3 different studios: Pasha, that's Pasha, Cherokee, which was the studio that they recorded Shout at the Devil, and Record Plant West Studios, all in Hollywood, California. It was once again produced by Tom Warman. Like I mentioned in episode 5, Tom would produce 3 Motley Crue albums. This will be the second one. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? The album was actually released on June 24th, 1985. They released 2 singles off of this album, both which got videos for and was played heavily on MTV. Smoking in the Boys' Room and Home Sweet Home, and I have a personal story about that, so check out episode 1. Now, Home Sweet Home, the video, was the number 1 video on the top 20 countdown on MTV. It was on Dial MTV as the number 1 video that after 3 months of being number 1, MTV had to retire the video. They call it the Crue rule. If a video was number 1 for longer or 3 months, they actually had to yank it off the air. So Motley was actually a trendsetter. There we go. Way before that word even existed. Because of Home Sweet Home, they introduced the power ballads. So all the 80 bands had to have a power ballad. They also, the Home Sweet Home video itself is a concert video. The band backstage, on stage, this and that. And that sparked something. Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive, Poison's I Won't Forget You, Every Rose Has a Thorn. The list just goes on and on. So they sparked all that, and everybody kind of followed behind them. The album actually peaked at number 6 in 1985 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album has sold 4 million copies in the United States. Now, like I said, that was just part of the trend set that they did. When they came out in 1983 looking like this is the Shout at the Devil look, all the other bands started copying it. In fact, there was one band that pops to my head right off the bat is Kiss, 1984's Animalize. Look at that, and then look at Shout at the Devil. Costumes, I always called it the Mad Max look, because that was a popular movie back in the 80s. So while everybody was looking like that, Motley decided to change their look and go all glam. So they started wearing pink and white and polka dots and stripes and purple and red and you name it, they wore it. Plus the makeup changed. They wore a little bit heavier makeup, lipstick. So yeah, while everybody was doing what they've already done, Motley did a complete 180 and said, we're going glam, like bands like The Sweet and Mott the Hoople, bands that Nikki actually idolized. Queen, that's another one that had that glam look. So not only did they change their look, but they changed the logo. I don't know if you can see that really good. So there's the logo for Shout at the Devil. And then they changed the logo on Theater of Pain. In every album, they changed their look and they changed their logo. So a publicity person's worst nightmare, I would say. But yeah, I love that logo, but that's not my favorite. We'll get it in a few albums down the road. So there's that part, some info and facts on the album. So let's actually go into the album itself. So song number 1 is City Boy Blues. The song just kicks right in. Great guitar riff by Mick. Excellent drumming by Tommy. The lyrics are absolutely fantastic. Vince's singing is fantastic as well. Catchy chorus. Fantastic guitar solo by Mick. Absolutely amazing song. It's so good. If you're not listening to this song, check this out. Song number 2 is Smoking in the Boys' Room, a Brownsville Station song that the band actually covered and actually Motley did up. The story goes is they were kind of short on songs, so they were kicking around a bunch of different other cover songs, and it was Vince, who had came back from rehab around this time, said, let's do Smoking in the Boys' Room. It was a hit song for them as he was in his band Rock Candy. The people just loved it, so they did it, and they Motleyed it up, and it just sounds perfect. In fact, a lot of people think Motley Crue wrote this song. That's how good it is. Song kicks right in. Vince asks a question, then it just takes off from there. Absolutely amazing cover of this song. It has a harmonica solo by Vince, and then followed by a guitar solo by Mick. It's just fantastic. Such a great song. I love it. Song number 3 is Louder Than Hell. Starts with this great drum groove by Tommy. Then Vince says right, and then the song just kicks right in. Great guitar riff. Vince singing is fantastic. Fantastic lyrics. Catchy chorus. Vince's scream in this song is excellent. Fantastic guitar solo by Mick. This song is so freaking good, especially live. If you've never heard him do this song live, check it out. Go to Carnival of Sins. Then we go to song number 4, and that is Keep Your Eye on the Money. Sorry, there's my notes. I don't know if that's really loud or not. If it is, I apologize. Keep Your Eye on the Money. The song just kicks right in. Fantastic guitar riff and drumming. Fantastic lyrics. Catchy chorus. You can actually feel the sleaze, the LA sleaze off this song. Tommy brings the cowbell in it. It's one of my favorites on this album. Excellent guitar solo by Mick. This song's, again, it's so freaking good. Check it out. Song number 5 is Home Sweet Home. Starts off with Tommy playing piano. Vince starts singing, and then the band just kind of comes in after the verses. The lyrics are so freaking fantastic. The whole band comes in, and to me, it's the greatest power ballad of all time in the 80s. Catchy chorus, fantastic guitar solo by Mick. Then at the end, Tommy's back on the piano while Vince hums the rest of the song. This song, like I said in episode 1, has a very importance to me. It means more to me now than it did back then. When my kids were little, they would always have me sing this song to them, and it got to the point where they would sing along or sing the chorus back to me. So, yeah, so it has a special meaning to me. Song number 6 is Tonight. We Need a Lover. I almost sung the song there. Just kicks right in, straight ahead rock and roll song. Excellent playing by the whole band. Great lyrics, catchy chorus. Absolute great guitar solo by Mick. There's like this game backing vocals, and then towards the end of the song, then it kind of builds it back up. Then the band plays really fast. It's almost, I wouldn't say speed metal, but it's almost a thrash towards the end. Really cool. Song number 7, Use It or Lose It. Just comes right in. Great guitar riff. Tommy is a beast drumming wise on this song. Fantastic lyrics, catchy chorus, great solo by Mick. There's a little bit of this, I call it a churning towards the end. It's really fantastic. I love it. Song number 8, Save Our Souls. Tommy starts this one off with a drum fill, then Mick comes in with a great guitar riff. Almost sounds like a slide guitar here that he's using. Excellent lyrics, catchy chorus. Vince's vocals on this song is absolutely outstanding. Great guitar solo by Mick. Absolutely fantastic song. It's so good. Save Our Souls. Then we get to song number 9, and that is Raise Your Hands to Rock. This one starts with Mick on an acoustic guitar, and while Vince is singing, then the band comes right on in. The verses of this song are absolutely fantastic on the whole song. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Then you get to the chorus. Chorus, not so much. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's repetitive. It doesn't really match the song with the verses. The verses are just fantastic, absolutely great. Then you get to the chorus, and you're like, I don't know. It almost makes me wonder, because Twisted Sister had an album in 1984, I Wanna Rock. I almost drew a blank. I Wanna Rock. So it kind of makes me wonder if Nicky thought, well, I could write something like that. But the chorus is not that great to me. But the music, the verses are absolutely fantastic. Just it doesn't fit the chorus. Alright, so we get to song number 10, or I should say the verses don't match the chorus. That's what I should have said. Then song number 10 is Fight for Your Right. This song starts in with this pounding, and then it kicks right in. The lyrics are so freaking good. So good. Catchy chorus, fantastic solo by Mick. Then there's this toned down part as Vince starts to sing, kind of almost like Too Fast for, or not Too Fast, 10 Seconds to Love. Then it kicks right back in. Excellent song. It's so good. Nikki writing a song about racism, and we shouldn't be doing this. And this is back in 1985. So, yeah, fantastic song. He mentions Martin Luther King, and we're all one race. Why can't we all be all one race? Fantastic. Absolutely great. So, that's how the Elektra version would have ended in 1985. But like I've done the last 2 albums, we're going Crucial Crue. Now, on Crucial Crue, on this one, there's not a whole lot on it as far as unreleased tracks, but there's a bunch of demos, and they're absolutely fantastic. Home Sweet Home, the demo, it's so cool to hear how this song kind of got started. Smoking in the Boys' Room, there's an alternate guitar solo played by Mick. City Boy Blues, the demo, absolutely amazing. It's so raw and dirty, you can feel the dirt under your fingernails when you hear this one. Uh, then there's Home Sweet Home, the instrumental, so it's kind of like a karaoke if you want to sing along with it. Song number 15 is called Keep Your Eye on the Money, the demo. Again, kind of like City Boy Blues, you hear the rawness of this song. And then we get to the last part, and it's not really a song, it's Tommy's drum piece from Cherokee Studios. So basically what this is, it's they hit record while they were miking up Tommy's drums for the album. So he's actually kind of playing along, just kind of fooling around. It's a little over 3 minutes. It's kind of awesome to hear. It's a peek behind the curtain of them in the studio, especially back in that time. And plus, you get to hear how much of a great drummer he is. It's a beast, I'm telling you. Okay, so that's the album. Rate it 1 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I'm actually going to give this album a 10. Like I've said in episode 1, this is the second album I ever bought in my life. So with this comes a lot of memories. I hold this album very dear to me, and yeah, I love it. I agree with Nikki. There's some kick-ass deep cuts, plus 2 monster hits. So now we're going to go to least favorite song or songs. You may have guessed it. Raise Your Hands to Rock. It's not that I would skip it. I will still listen to it. I'll still sing along with it because I know all the words to every Motley Crue song. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. The chorus is just not that great. Favorite song or songs? Here we go. City Boy Blues, Smoking in the Boys' Room, Louder in Hell, Keep Her Eye on the Money, Home Sweet Home, Tonight We Need a Lover, Use It or Lose It, Save Our Souls, Fight for Your Rights. So pretty much the rest of the album is my favorite songs. Homework this week. So I want to hear from you guys. You rate this record 1 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What's your favorite song or songs on this album? What's your least favorite song or songs on this album? And if you say a 1, I want to know why. Not because you read some hippie in Rolling Stone magazine said that the album sucks. I really want you to listen to it all the way through and then tell me. Alright. And that's it for this week. Next week's episode is episode 7. We're going to go away from the Motley Crue albums. We're actually going to keep on with their releases, but I'm going to talk about their very first home video release, Motley Crue Uncensored, and we'll talk about that next week. I want to thank each and every one of you who viewed these last 5 episodes, now 6. I want to thank all the subscribers. I want to thank everybody who's joined the Facebook page. I want to thank everybody that's given me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'm actually speechless of how many people has watched these episodes. So let's keep that ball rolling. If you know anybody that is a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Give them the link. Tell them go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook. Yes, there is a Facebook page. Type in Talking Crue, Microsoft. I don't know. Explorer. Is that still stuff around? I don't know. Type in Talking Crue. Everything will pop up. All the episodes. Don't forget to like and subscribe yourself and join the Facebook page. Plus, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next Friday. And you just took a ride on the wild side.